We're excited to talk about beer with my dear friend, Brandon Hernandez. People have until this Friday to vote on all your favorite beers, breweries, a whole lot more. We're going to get into those awards coming up. But first, we want to talk to Brandon about what you do at San Diego Beer News, which is bring us the very latest in all things local craft beer. Hi, Brandon.
Hi, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me in the actor studio.
Yes, in our fancy chairs. We're so glad you're here because there's so much changing in beer all the time.
Yeah.
And for people who don't know, tell us, what are some of the latest happenings now?
Well, I'm happy to report there's a lot of good news. Last month there was a little bit of bad news in that a place called Bagby Beer, husband and wife business, had to go out of business. But in doing so, instead of just closing, they handed the torch over to another great Southern California business based out of Orange called Green Cheek Beer Company. They're currently at work taking that place over. Not only that, but they kept on the husband and wife. Husband is the most awarded brewer in San Diego history, so he'll be brewing beers there. His wife, Dandy, will be handling the hospitality she has. So it's a nice little story there. They'll be opening in March. Green
Cheek taking over Bagby in Oceanside. Okay,
yes, ma'am.
That's a big change.
Yeah.
All right.
So they have new residents there. We have resident brewing.
Yeah.
I like that segue. But they're located downtown in the Gaslamp Quarter. They're opening a second location in Chula Vista.
Okay.
Very exciting news for them. Downtown Chula Vista at 3rd Avenue Ale House's old spot. So that's some place where a lot of people in the South Bay got their first taste of craft beer. So this is a great continuation of that effort with a new tenant.
A resident expanding. That's great to see. They're doing great.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then a company that actually went from having 2 locations last year down to 1 because the owner was tired of chasing growth. He just wanted to service his fans at his own spot in Carlsbad. Ruler Brewing.
Ruler, okay.
They are opening a deli on site so they can better service that clientele.
Well,
and it's called Onward and Upward. It's a great name. It's his motto, and it's how he's approached his business and his life.
Oh.
That's going to be opening next week, and it's really exciting. High-end sandwiches and a lot of cool stuff happening there, but also different beverages beyond beer. So pretty exciting.
Because when you're having your beer, you want a sandwich, something delicious and hearty to go with that.
Yeah, and it's a biking-themed brewery. They bring in a lot of bikers, so they need food in addition to just alcohol. You know what I mean?
Yes, of course. You got to fuel the people.
Exactly.
Okay, nice.
And then last but not least is a story that broke yesterday on San Diego Beer News. It's Latchkey Brewing. Was born in Mission Brewery Plaza 6 years ago. 4 years ago, when their lease was up, they decided to look for a spot where they could make more beer, expand their brand. It took them over 2 years to find it, but they finally did. So they're going to be taking over the old Bitter Brothers Brewing spot in Bayho and putting a kitchen in there. It's going to be a full-on brew pub. So a lot of people are really excited for them after so much time spent looking for the right place.
And that's the old Bitter Brothers spot?
Yes, that is the blank canvas they're going to be taking over. But expect something very exciting, a lot of great IPAs, lagers, things like that.
And nice to see that in Bayho, too, because, you know, people need their beer in all parts of town.
We need more than just the Costco, right?
Of course, yeah, right? There's a lot more coming to Bayho, of course. So now let's talk about the awards. It's time to vote. People need to get on it.
Yeah, from now through midnight tomorrow, they can do it. So if you're just hearing about it or you just didn't get around to it, there's plenty of time to do so. Have your voice be heard and help us pick the winners.
I love it. So tell us about the whole lineup for this year. I mean, there's so many categories. So when people think, oh, we're voting for our favorite beer, I mean, what type?
So there's like 15 different beer styles because there's so many types of beer, right? But you're also voting for the best brewery in certain regions, best customer service, best interior exterior design, best can design. There's myriad categories. It's really fun. So even if you're like, I don't feel like I'm qualified for this, you'll be qualified for that. So you can skip a category if you need to. But we also have a lot of first-time categories. One of them you're up for. It's the.
This was so cool to see my name on there. I was like, are you sure about this?
And I'll say very well deserved. But the Nate Sirocco Community Impact Award. So Nate was Big Nate, as we called him, was such a force in the community. He cared so much about craft beer, advocated. That Big Nate. He advocated for, supported craft beer in a big way. So we wanted to be able to honor people who are doing that when they're not affiliated with a brewery. So you know, they're not employed by a brewery. They're not, have financial stakes in it. People like media members, people on social media, people who are
a lot of influencers out there.
There's influencers out there, and there's people who do things like special projects that are, say, celebrate the history of beer, whatever it might be. But
I saw a lot of people put your name in that category. I was like, Brandon, you are the one who does all this for the beer scene.
That's very kind, but
you're not allowed. To win this.
Can you imagine if I won? How rigged that would be. But no, I'm glad to see a bunch of people in there. I think it's great because one thing that you do, other than just vote, you see these people and you're like, oh, what do they do? And you find out more about them. You see a beer or a brewery you've never heard of in your neighborhood, and you say, oh, I didn't even know they were there. So the awards have more than one goal, but
it's really special. I mean, the fact. So I know Big Nate, as you call him, he passed away at the young age of 39. Still, his name is mentioned all the time at breweries.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Talk about that. What does that say for our community here?
I say it speaks to the camaraderie of the craft beer industry and the fact that, not only do people appreciate the people making their beer, I love that it's reciprocated like that.
Yeah.
They see people who are advocating for them, who love their beer so much, and they know you. You can have a real relationship with somebody at a brewery and very easily. It's not like, oh, I'm a regular here, I'm here 100 times a year. Come in twice and just strike up a conversation, and you've got
and the brewer will come out and chat with you about it.
Yeah, and it means so much to them just as much as your beer, their beer means something to you. It's a great community, and you will be remembered if you put something into it, and I love that.
Right. There are pictures that we just showed of the big party that you had last year at AleSmith. I was so grateful to be able to be part of the announcing of one of the NA beer categories.
The non-alcoholic beer was
pregnant
very
at the time.
Yeah.
But that party was amazing, and your award ceremonies have grown and grown. I mean, you didn't start this that long ago, Brandon, and it's awesome to see the growth.
We're in year 4, and the big thing is, in addition to the awards, it's just a chance for everybody to get together in the industry, as well as the fans, and mingle and have a great time. So this year, Tuesday, March 26th, gonna be 5 to 9 p.m., Stone Brewing World Bistro and Gardens in Point Loma.
Nice. So it'll be at Stone this year.
Yeah, free and open to everybody. So just come on out. All you basically have to pay for is any beer or food you want.
Whatever you want to have there. There's also like the best food at a brewery category.
Oh, absolutely.
So people need to get on there.
Everybody can vote for that. Not everybody knows food, okay?
Right. And I mean, the regions, it's so cool to see how many in each region that we have. Because where are we at now? How many breweries in town?
Oh, as far as brewing companies, somewhere around 150, 160. But then as far as venues, we're still around 210 to 225.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, look at, I knew you'd have the number like right there off the top of your head. Of course, Brandon knows.
I care too much.
How can people vote?
Just go to SanDiegoBeer.news. You'll be prompted. There's an ad up at the top, as well as just look for the logo of the Beer News Awards and go for it.
Big bright vote right there.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being with us and for all the work you do to support these businesses. These are hardworking beer lovers out there.
I truly love it, and thank you.
Of course.
I appreciate you.
No, we're glad to have you. We will be right back after this quick break with a check of your headlines and your forecast. Get on there and vote.